Happy Friday! Happy Friday! It's Friday again! Are you coming in here? Are you staying in here? Is there anybody there? Oh, there's one person there. Right. Are you Chloe? Are you Chloe? You alright? So, today's live, somebody asked me to do a little video about what to take. Hi Agnieszka! What to take into hospital when you have your baby. So I've done my best here, and there are loads and loads of online YouTube videos with the sort of things, but I thought I'd just give you my little take because I've added a couple of things in that weren't on the other YouTube clips that I saw. So the main thing when you go into hospital, you're only going to be there for a few days, especially now. So you don't need to take everything in your house and the kitchen sink. You're not going for a 2-week holiday, probably. If you are, then that's different. So you're probably not going to need a massive suitcase. Hi Eleanor. Hi Felicity. Hi Rachel. Hi Shelley. So it's a bit of a weird angle this. Should I sit on my stool? I feel like I'm proper high up. Right, that's a bit better. So I've got some things that I wanted to go through here. Some of them are really, really common sense. But the main thing is you know, like when you go on holiday and you just take everything. But the problem with that is when you go in hospital, especially the hospital I work at, there's not loads and loads of room. So we're going to... You'll know the basic stuff, but some of these things you might not have thought about. So first of all, you'll see... I don't know whether you can see. You'll see... I've got here... So we're going to start off with what I would use. So I've got these are really, really good. My mum bought me this for Christmas, and it's absolutely brilliant because it's like a Tardis. You can get proper loads in there, and it's also got a pocket on the back, so things for easy. Oh no, that's I don't know what that's for. I don't know what that bit's for. I thought it was a pocket. So you have got a pocket on the side, easy access stuff in there. There's one on the other side, but there's also this huge zip compartment at the front, and it's got a zip compartment in there, and it's got pockets for your phone and what have you. So I really like that. You're going to fit everything that you need in there, but you might want to have a different bag for your baby stuff. So this is pretty much the same sort of thing. I use this. I get so much in there, and it's really good again because you've got a zip pocket at the back, you've got 2 pockets at the front. So what I'd be putting in here, first of all, hi Sally, hi Janet, hi Heather. So now I am ready to have a baby now. I'm ready to have a baby. I spent my morning planning, and now I'm ready to have my baby. Right, so what I'd be putting in here, easy access things, I'd be putting my phone in there, and take yourself a charger. But good tip about chargers is obviously we end up with so many lost ones. So my tip for you is write in indelible marker, write your name on your plug. Write your name on your plug, and then if you can't find it, hopefully we can get it back to you a bit easier if you leave it somewhere. So earphones, brilliant inventions, earphones, because you might well be up in the middle of the night and you don't want to be disturbing any other mums and babies if you're in a bay with other mums. So what we're looking at first of all is going into hospitals. Usually hospitals are really quite nicely heated because they have to be. I'm going to sit back down here again. They have to be for babies. So you're not going to need a massive duffel coat. You're not going to need a massive duffel coat and 15 cardigans, probably. So first of all, the main thing about when you go into labour is nice and comfy. Comfy, stretchy. Even when you've had your baby, your belly's still going to be a nice round size, which it's supposed to be, by the way. So when you don't want to be squeezing. I remember when I had my first baby, I remember folding my belly into my jeans, and it would just make you bleed more. So you don't want to be folding your belly in anywhere. So you want nice, comfortable, loose clothing. And so we're going to start with mum's bits. So mum's bits for labour. So if you're in labour and you're, let me move. It's not the biggest bedroom, I tell you. So if you're going in and you're in labour, you might want to just wear what you've got on and have your outfit ready. But I was thinking, what would I wear if I was going in labour? Because what I did actually wear was a big baggy t-shirt, and it wasn't long enough. So one of the things you don't want to be wearing is you don't want to be wearing something like this. Definitely not a white t-shirt. You don't want to be wearing a white t-shirt, because the problem with that white t-shirt is it's the wrong colour and it might get messy. It's going to get sweaty. And this top would be ace for having a baby in if it was like a long dress. Because most mummies will want to have their babies, once they're born, put straight onto the chest for skin to skin. And a lot of the times the midwives are like fighting with clothes that are right up here. So nighties that go up here. So I just thought, what would I have? And I thought a lot of just cotton stretchy fabric material summer dresses are kind of ideal, really, because they're nice and stretchy, they're nice and loose. And what you want is you want something that's going to cover your bum when you're bending over. So when you're bending over like that, because you don't want people seeing your bottom. So something like that would be ideal. Although I would pack a couple of labour things to wear, because sometimes if you just sat on a chair or on your birthing ball or whatever, if your waters go, you don't want to be sitting in that, do you? You want to take it off and just whip another one on. Something that's easy to pull on and pull off. So that's that one. So I'll pop that there. And just nice big loose knickers. And a lot of the times in labour, women are not wearing any knickers. So that's why I said, when you're leaning over, you want something, not really, really short that's only just covering your bum. Is somebody coming to my house? I don't think so. Anyway, right. So let's say you've had your baby and you've took everything off, you've gone for your shower. Most of the things say take a towel, because you're going to want to have a shower and a freshen up. Most hospitals will have some towels for you to use, but they're sometimes, depending on how busy we are, sometimes we run a little bit low. So if you've got your own towel, you've got something to use. But don't take loads of towels, because you won't have anywhere to dry them. There's nowhere really to put them. So it's just like one, just an emergency one. And I got these out. I got these fluffy socks out of these fluffy socks, 5 million pairs of fluffy socks that I've ordered. Because a lot of people don't know, your feet can get a little bit chilly in labour. So fluffy socks is a good idea. But if you're walking around just in your fluffy socks, get them ones with the little, like the slipper socks with the little rubbery bits on the bottom so you don't slip. Because the blood supply is directed to the uterus, very often you get cold feet in labour. So that's those. And we're not going to be needing these anytime soon. You're not going to be needing those anytime soon. So they can go. Right, so knickers when you've had your baby. And I was going to go around hunting for bits and pieces to show you, but I can't really, can I? So I've got pictures. I like those really high-sided knickers, and you can see the black, can't you? Black or coloured. Don't get white ones, because it's going to be a bit messy. Don't have white stuff. It's going to be messy. So they're just nice, fresh in the pack. Just buy a pack of 5 or 10 or something like that. And then a lot of women like these disposable pants. I've seen a lot of mums say that they like using those. That's not for me, really. I don't really, it's bad enough having a great big pad on. You don't want to feel like you've got a nappy on as well. But that's personal choice. You might feel that those are a lot easier and they just go in the bin, obviously. But like your high-sided Knickers, I'd always go for... oh, hang on. They've gone out and locked the front door and I'll have to go and let them in. My kids, honestly. Have you got in? Oh... Right, I'm back. Right, where I was at, Knickers. So, you'll have to decide whether you like the big Knickers. And if you're having a caesarean section, you don't want those low-waisted ones that's going to just sit right on your section. You want it to come up. That's why I wear these pants, because they're comfy, because they come up nice and high. So, you're going to need some of these. So... Not the little panty liner ones. You need the big chunky ones because you're going to need to change them. So a couple of packs of those. And these are like support type ones, but you don't want them being very, very tight. But I've got those out because they're high and it just feels nice. But I would always go for the cotton option. Not anything else. And I haven't got a nursing bra, but I can't imagine when you've just had a baby that you're gonna want to wear like a proper structured wired bra, because you sort of ribs expand. You'll have noticed in pregnancy anyway, everything expands out a little bit, and you don't want hard wires digging in. So I had a little hunt. And these ones are quite like Seraphine Bamboo. And I've got some bamboo socks. And they are so soft. And because your breasts will go, they get bigger when you've had a baby. I'll show you these that I found. Seraphine Bamboo nursing bras. They're probably not the cheapest, but I'd love to know what they feel like, because my bamboo socks are proper comfy and they just look comfortable. So you're going to want to wear those, or if you're not breastfeeding, just a nice comfortable supportive bra. And your nighties. Right, so you've got stuff like this from like Primark, stuff like that, that's just soft, forgiving and very easy to get your boobs out of for feeding, right? But if you don't want to, and you want to go for more of a maternity nightie option, I had a look and I found these. I quite like those. So I quite like that. That looks comfy, but bear in mind what time of year it is, because you might be a little bit warm in a long-sleeved one. That one might be something like that. You can have a look, but just you get a couple that you think you're going to keep and use a lot. But I quite like that because it's not really, really, really short. So you might want to use those. Right, so we're getting on to what you might want to wear afterwards. They're an essential item, aren't they? These just little vest tops, just because they're, if it's warm in the hospital, just something that's cotton, and it's up to you whether you wear a bra or not, but pair of jogging bottoms, just nice and whatever your comfy stuff is. But personally, and you'll have to decide for yourself, personally, I prefer the idea of getting changed into daytime wear and having your nightie on at night. I think it's good for you to, and it's whatever you're comfortable with, but I think it's a really good idea to get used to having a little bit of routine where you get dressed in the daytime and put your nightie on at night, because everything's out of a routine anyway, isn't it? So we've got those. Right, so when you go and have your shower, I've just got a decent size wash bag. But what I would this is for labour as well. If you're like me and you've got hair that needs tying up, remember to take your hair bubbles. Hair bubble. These are really good just for clipping your hair up, but bear in mind when you've got a crocodile clippy thing in, it's not going to be comfortable to lean your head back, but sometimes when you're in the throes of labour and you just want to get your hair up, that might be helpful. And I got this scrunchie out, and the reason I got that out, because a lot of women in labour, they've got their Entonox and they're huffing and puffing on that, and they might have a water bottle in their other hand, and they're saying to the partners, tie my hair up, in the nicest possible way, but things like that just get on your nerves if your hair's in your way and you're feeling really warm. So something like a scrunchie might be helpful if you think you might want your partner to tie your hair up. And before you go into labour, show them how to do it with something really simple. So you can say, if I ask you to tie my hair up, because you never know what you're going to like. You might want your hair up, you might want your hair down, you might want to change your hair. What I've got in here, easy peasy things. Can you see? Can you see? Let's go down a bit. Right. We can sit down again, can't I? Let's get cosy. Right. So what I've got here is, you don't need a toiletry bag this big, because you'd be surprised how busy you are with a new baby. So flannel in there, and sometimes a flannel's really good when you're in labour, just to run under the hot cold tap and just to dab your face down with. Also, I've got that. You can buy those. I think I bought that from Boots. They're really good, those little misters, just to fill with water and just literally mist in your face in labour. You might hate that, but it might just be that thing that keeps you going. Some of the sites I noticed said bring a fan. I think they must mean the little handheld ones, which is fine in summer, but at the hospital I work, most of the delivery rooms will have a fan in for you to use, so you don't need to take a fan. And then I've put in here this is really nice, this lavender body mist. So you might like a little spritz of that, but you might not. It might be horrible. We've got hairbrush. Obviously you need your hairbrush, and good thing when you go on holiday, you can now get these little travel size things. So I've got shampoo, conditioner and a moisturiser if that's what you use, but get the little travel ones, so because you're not going to need a massive pot of them. And your daily age-proof cream and toothbrush and toothpaste. Treat yourself to a new toothbrush. Got some soap in there. Just a little size shower gel if you don't use soap, and also little face wipes. Face wipes are really nice for if you get hot and sweaty in labour and you just want to get rid of your dribbling down makeup. So that's what I've got in there. The only thing I haven't got in there is my toothbrush. And this roll-on deodorant. So we all like a bit of deodorant, don't we? But what you don't want to be using is this spray stuff. Don't want because the problem with the spray on, right, and this goes for hairspray as well, you ain't going to need any hairspray or any perfume in the hospital probably. But the problem with these squirty deodorants are it can set off our fire alarms in the hospital, which is a right nuisance. So you're just better avoiding those completely and sticking to your roll-on. So I've got that. And I think this is rather an essential item. A little bit of a makeup bag. So I'd have a look, see what you've got, because you might not need your huge ones, because you ain't going to be painting your nails. You ain't going to be plucking your eyebrows, and you ain't going to be putting a face mask on. So just your basics in here, whatever you like. Now, I'd be taking my red lipstick, but you don't have to have your red lipstick. But even just a bit of mascara might just... anything that makes you feel a little bit more human again after you've had your baby. I think sometimes just putting a bit of makeup on just makes you feel a bit nicer, doesn't it? And although I don't think all the wardrooms all have a mirror in them, so I've put this in. Obviously, it's a little standy up mirror, because I think that's really handy. Because if you're in the ward and you know the little tables that push over the bed, very often people use that, and you can just, you know, you've got your baby in the cot next to you, and you're just just checking yourself out and doing your hair and what have you. But obviously, don't put an expensive one in. And what I would do when you're packing your bag is wrap it in something like your towel, you know, and just keep it safe like that. But just a travel mirror, something like that. Right, footwear. So you're going to want your slippers. Comfy slippers. But also, because you might not want to trudge around in your slippers and your nightie all day. So I think these are a really good compromise. Flip-flops that feel like you're sort of getting up and about, doesn't it? What else did I think about for labour? And clothes to wear. Let me move this round. Clothes to wear when you're in the hospital. I've been having a look, and do you know what? A lot of people just prefer to wear leggings, don't they? But I quite like. I'm a lover of these Joe Brown's dresses, I've got to say, because they're long enough, but they're comfy, and they're not tight. They're not going to be tight round your belly, and you can probably get away with having a bra on or not having a bra on. But what I was thinking, if you've got your little summer dress on, I quite like these as an option. So you've got your long summer dresses. However, on closer inspection, I've had a look at the front of this, and that's going to be a little bit more difficult to pull down if you're breastfeeding, and you ain't going to be pulling that up from the bottom. So if you can find one that's a bit more like, a bit crossy over, you might need something to hold it together. But that's going to be really, that dress is lovely for summer. But then I had another thought, and what my other thought was if you're thinking on wearing a maxi dress, something like that, make sure it's not too long and that you're going to be tripping over it, because we don't want that. And I've got this other dress that I had made for me, actually. This has got a similar thing going on, so that's got a crossover bit there. And the thing is, it's sort of quite forgiving. So it's not going to be too tight round your belly, but it's long enough to cover your modesty. So something like that's handy. Or you could just use your like front opening things. And I'd always take a cardigan, or if you're just going to live in your tracksuit bottoms, you know, you could just put a hoodie in. Right, and the other things that I've got to show you are just a nice touch. Is you don't need to take a diffuser into the hospital, because we have them in our hospital. If it's a different hospital you're going to, you're going to have to ask at the hospital what they have available. But our hospital does have aromatherapy. But what I've done for a few of my ladies is they're like tiny little jam jars, right? They're only little. You can buy those. I think I got those at Wilko's, about 16 of them or something like that. So they're fairly cheap. And then what I do, very often I'll put some little sprinkles in. You know, the little sprinkles that you put in cards, and I've just put a little bit of cotton wool in there, and then I'll use my essential oils, put a couple of drops of your essential oils in there, whatever you're fancying, and then you've got that just in your little handbag or whatever you're taking, just whatever smell you like. And you just got, if you're not sure which essential oils you should use and which ones you should avoid at which gestations, ask your midwife. She should know somewhere, or he should know someone. that knows. Right, so now we're on to baby. Oh, no, we're not. If I were you at the moment, I'd take a mask, because in all the open areas of the hospital, you're required to wear a mask. Our hospital, most of the other hospitals will provide them, but I would take one. See, I've forgot loads of things. Not even ready for the baby bit. I'm going ahead of myself. Right. You're going to need one of these. A water bottle. Personally, that's quite nice because it's got little bits for your fingers to go in. Personally, so that's quite nice to hold. Personally, I don't like the ginormous 3-litre ones, because you want to hold that while you're going to drink a fair amount of water when you're in labour. Should you bring your own birthing ball? Hi, Felicity. What I would do, Felicity, is, because at our hospital we have got birthing balls, but I don't think there's one in every room. So what I would do, Felicity... Hi, Nicola. What I would do, Felicity, is when you phone up, or you could phone up when you think you're going to be due to have your baby, and just ask them how many they've got. As far as I know, they're not used loads, so my guess is you're probably not going to need to take your own birthing ball. You're probably going to be able to borrow one when you get there, but just ask and check, because I'm pretty sure that they haven't got one in for every room. So that's the water bottle. And this is important, hang on, let me get my other bits. This is important. When you go, right, we used to have the handheld notes, and you must remember to take your handheld notes into hospital. But here at my trust, we have this blue cardy thing. And even though we record all the information on the computer, the thing that's attached to this that's really helpful, number one, it should have a sticker on the front that has your own details on, which includes your personal hospital number. So when you arrive at hospital, it's really easy for the midwives to find you on the computer and access your medical records. But also, and this is just a quick scan of it, it will, that's just a copy of a sample. It will have your baby's growth chart. So you know when you either have a scan and they plot the measurements along there, or the midwife measures the fundal height and they plot it on there. That's really handy to have, because it's easy to see things at a glance. And very often, ladies will come in the throes of labour, and as midwives, you just want to concentrate your attention on the mum and making sure she's settled in the room and making sure she's happy and she's got water. But that just gives us a really, really good indicator of if we think the baby's kind of normal size or a little bit on the smaller size. And so it just helps give us a bit more information. And also with it, if you've got a birth plan, and I'm going to move a bit closer because I've done a bit of I was a bit late today, and it was because I was thinking about what you should put in your birth plan. But there's loads of samples online. But birth plan, what I would say about birth plans is try not to overcomplicate them. So birth plans are a bit of a guide for you and a bit of a guide for the midwives or doctors that are looking after you about what your preferences are. Because sometimes birth plans can be really, really important, because in the throes of labour, you can communicate to us what it is, for example, that you really don't want. Because I've had different people that I've cared for in the past that have certain cultural things that are really important to them. So they might say, well, you know, I prefer to have female doctors, or I prefer to whatever it is. So it's just a way of you having a think about what you think is important for us to know. So I've put on there birth plan. Think about what you do want and what you don't want, but see it as more of a bit of an idea, not a specific plan. Because the problems with specific plans are that we can't see into the future, and we don't know how mums are going to behave in labour, and we don't know how babies are going to behave in labour. And it'd be a lot easier if we did, but you know, we don't know, because everybody's different. Every mum's different, every baby's different, so every labour's different. So for example, things like, some people have said, you're not giving me an epidural. You're not giving me an epidural. That's the worst thing you could do to me. Whereas other people have said, as soon as I can have an epidural, I want an epidural. I want all the drugs you can give me. And, you know, that's really helpful to know. And some people I know, like, I want to use the pill if it's available. Or, no, I can't think of anything worse. I do not want to use the pill. And then it just gives us all a bit of an idea. And then you've got things like, you know, I've had women in the past who say, I've got my playlist, I want to listen to this, or I prefer it to be silent. You know, it's because we're all different. So there you go. I will be kind to myself and I'm allowed to change my mind. That's one of the main things that I find myself saying to women. Just because you've written it in a birth plan, it doesn't mean that it's set in stone. You are allowed to change your mind. So that's okay. So you might have said, you know, I really, really don't want an epidural. But then as labour's gone on, you've thought, well, you know, I would like to try an epidural, but I can't have one because I said I wasn't going to have one in my birth plan. It's fine. It's fine to change your mind. And you don't have to say sorry. You don't have to say sorry. It's all right. It's fine, because you don't always know how you're going to feel, do you, till you get there. I will see how things go, and I'm happy to listen to suggestions along the way. So, you know, these are just lines that everyone's different. I prefer not to be routinely offered pain relief unless I ask for it. Some people feel quite strongly about that because some people don't want us to say the word pain. Should you bring a speaker for your playlist? Do you know what, Felicity? I think that the hospital now, because I'm so techno rubbish, right? They've got speaker things, but I don't know how they work. But I've seen some in some of the rooms, so I know the rooms that we were painting in the week, there were speakers there. So you can ask them again when you ask them about your birthing ball. Ask them if there's a speaker you can use, and it might just be that there's only one or two, and you need to bring your own. But you've got to be careful and ask them about bringing your own, because the hospitals are really funny about electrical devices. Anything electrical, they don't want you to have. And I did get my hairdryer out, actually, to remind myself to tell you that we don't like bringing hairdryers and stuff like that, really. Hopefully they'll have one for you to borrow on the ward if you need it. But it's just because everything that's electrical in the hospital has to be checked and passed that it's safe, because we don't want the hospital to burn down with dodgy electrical equipment. What else have I got on here? And these are just examples of the sort of things we see on them. Tell us things that you would hate that we might not know. You don't call me Betty. And that's funny, that, because everyone has their funny little things. And, you know, it might be the worst thing in the world for somebody to call you Betty except your partner. Or it might be the worst thing to call you Elizabeth or whatever. Or you might hate your first name and prefer your middle name. So if it's things like that we're not going to know, but it's important to you. So if it's important to you, it's important to us as well. All right. So nothing stupid. If it makes it nicer for you, it's worth thinking about and letting us know. And we'd like to make things nice for you. You know, you might say, well, I just want to listen to whatever song on repeat all the way through my labour, and that's fine as well. Right, so what have we got here? We will probably ask you about the injection for the 3rd stage of labour to help get the placenta out, given after baby is born. So the reason we will ask you about if you want this injection, and they use oxytocin injection, usually given in your leg after baby's been born. And for a start off, it's nice for you to know that an injection is coming. And number 2, or should I say number 1, we can't do anything to you without your consent. So we wouldn't be able to give you an injection without talking to you about it first to make sure you know what it's for. So that's why it's really good to know. So the injection in your leg's called active management of the 3rd stage. So the 3rd stage of labour is where the placenta or the afterbirth comes out. So there's you can choose to have an injection in your leg that will help the placenta come out and the uterus contract, or you can choose to not have that injection and the placenta will still come out as it wouldn't naturally, but it's coming out on its own and in its own time. So that's what that injection's for. We'll probably ask you about vitamin K for baby. It's good to have a think before you're in labour. So in where I work, it's routinely offered to all babies, vitamin K. So if you don't know about it, ask your midwife or have a research about it, because again, it's something that we can't go giving your baby an injection or any medicine without mum or dad's consent first. So that's really important. It's just that when everything's happening in labour, sometimes it's good to have thought these things through, and you could go, oh yeah, I remember them talking to me about vitamin K. Yes, I'd like my baby to have vitamin K. Yeah, that's fine. And then you're not going, what's that? I can't remember what that's for. And then you don't always take it all in. So what else have we got on here? How would you like to feed your baby? So it's good to know, because we want to respect your preferences. And some women go, do you know what? I've thought about it. I've looked into it. I am not breastfeeding my baby. I'm going to formula feed my baby, and I don't want anyone talking to me about it. You know, it's good to document things like that, and whatever the reason is. But some women will say to me, I want to try breastfeeding. So they might have had children before but not breastfed, and they might want to try it this time. And it's really helpful to document your feelings in just concisely, to say, you know, I would really like some help after. The midwives are always there to offer you help, because even though you've got a mum who's breastfed before, baby hasn't breastfed before. So very often at first, mums really appreciate a little bit of help with breastfeeding. So don't be frightened to ask for help. You know, we really want to be there for you, and don't be frightened. Sometimes we just don't even think about it, and you might be struggling, and don't think that we're ignoring you. It might just be that we think that you're doing fine, you know. So don't be frightened of asking for help. And this one here, please let me see the sex of my baby first. So that's something that's really going to be special for you. And obviously we see quite a lot of babies being born, but that for you might just be that one thing that is the icing on the cake, that you were the first one to see your baby. You were the first one to say, I've got a little girl, or I've got a little boy, or you might want your partner to do that. So have a think of things like that. So it's little things that you can be in control of, and try not to be too specific about some of the things that we don't know. You know, we don't know what type of birth you're going to have, and you know, can't always say see into the future and know exactly how birth's going to go for you. Have lots of notes for my appointment on Wednesday. That's all right, Katie. That's all right. And if we haven't got enough time, Katie, in your appointment, we can always make a time where we can have a phone chat, because we shouldn't be seeing you for too long face-to-face in our appointments, but we're always happy to go over your questions over the phone. So a lot of the online thing talks about having books and your phone and your earphones for listening to, well, some people watch films on them in the hospital if they're being induced and they've got a long time to wait, and music, things like that. It's just good, isn't it? Nice and private to have your earphones in. But if you're somebody that likes reading, think about what you're going to read. And if you're going in for induction, you might want to, if you've read this hypnobirthing book, you know, and you don't have to, you know, things like this are really, really helpful. Just take from it what you want, but if you're going, you know, full on into hypnobirthing, you need to do a bit of practice. You can't just read the book and in 10 minutes and then not do anything else. So it's good to have good practice. So things like that can just remind you, but you might want to have read that before. And this is going to be the wrong way around, but I've showed you this book before. It's called Does This Pregnancy Make Me Look Fat? And the reason I like it, and I've not got very far through it, it's the essential guide to loving your body before and after your baby. I think we should give those away free. If I was in charge of giving them away, I'd give every one of those, because your body has done an amazing job having a baby, so you need to not be saying to yourself, oh, my belly's this, my belly's that, you know, you've just had a baby. You've got to be patient with yourself, and your belly does feel a little bit strange straight away after you've had a baby, and you do have that baby bump still there. It takes a little while for everything to go back to normal, and we don't expect, you've not got to be unkind to yourself. And things that weren't on these lists generally are things like, well, I've got a pen in here. Things like notebook and pen. Notebook and pen. Oh, I can hear my son shouting on his game. Notebook and pen, because sometimes it really helps to write things down. And it might be something like you're a bit worried the first day or two about how much your baby's feeding. A lot of new mummies like to write down the time and length of feeds, and it just means that it's there, and then you don't have to feel like you've got to try and remember everything. Also, I do like this. I would, if I was going in to have a baby, I think I'd be taking a journal. We've talked about journals before. Look at my journal. Wellness journal, Claire Metcalf. And I like a peacock feather. Right, but it's got things in here, and you might want to have the new baby journals where you write down, things like your time of birth and stuff, but you don't need to get caught up in it, But it's got things like in here, so this isn't a pregnancy related one, it's got things like feel good goals. So your goal might be, while you're in hospital for one particular day, I'm going to have a shower and get dressed today. What an amazing minute. Oh, hi Alicia. How are you? Oh, I just try, Alicia, because I know you lot keep me going. Anyway, back to the journal, but things like wish lists and thoughts and feelings, and self-care activity, and our sleep. It's got an intention for the day, and the idea is, I'll tell you what this is good for. It says today I'm thankful for. We've talked about learning to be more to have an attitude of gratitude, as Tony Robbins says. But something like that I think is invaluable, because at the moment, when you're having to stay in hospital and be on your own a lot without your partner, it's different, isn't it? And we really want to help you look after your mental well-being. And I think just having something, and that is actually a really good gift for somebody who is pregnant or just had a baby, a wellness journal. Invest in one of those, and it's just good. It's good to get things off your chest, off your mind, and you've got enough to worry about, haven't you? So anyway, that's my top tip. And I do love a pen and paper. I know all these kids all do it on their phones and all that lot. Right, we're going to go on to now what you need for your baby. So luckily I already had these. Right, for your baby, what we recommend babies wear in hospital are little vest. So you've got a little vest like that, a little vest top, and then a baby grow. So you can see the one underneath. There's a bib there as well. Baby grow. So I'd have at least 3 or 4, maybe 5 of those. Maybe 3 or 4. Certainly a clean one every day, and hopefully you won't be in hospital very long. And also, obviously, nappies, plenty of nappies, and little muslins. Muslins are just every new mum's essential item. And So you don't need loads and loads of stuff for your baby. And I really like these clear plastic bags. These clear things are really good for packing all sorts of things, including your toiletries. So so you can see, easy to find. Because I kid you not, when you go into labour and you're in the throes of labour, or afterwards when you're occupied with your baby and you're saying to your partner, can you get me my bar of soap and my flannel out of there? And they'll go, no, where is it? And they're like that, and you go, give it here. So the midwife ends up rifling through because partner can't find it. So it's really good that if you could get those that were in different colours, you could say, can you pass me the clear in yellow bag, because that's got my baby stuff in. Anyway, for your baby, you're not going to need too much. Cotton wool balls I'd have, not those. And a little plastic dish. So what that plastic dish is for is just for warm water for cleaning your baby's bum. And fancy this is what we need to clean a baby's bum. This and this. So what you don't need is loads of fancy oils, fancy bubble baths, fancy shampoos, fancy moisturisers, talcs, anything like that. Newborn babies don't need all that stuff. You know, a lot of it's a big business, isn't it, baby stuff? You know, but you don't need it. And a brand new baby is covered in the white, the white vernixy stuff, which can't concentrate here. We're having the dinner. So the white vernixy stuff is what is the baby's like waterproofing when baby's inside, and it's really, really good for the skin. So we'd rather it just stayed on there. And what we're going to do if we put loads of soaps and perfume stuff on is just rub it all off. So babies don't immediately need bathing. And if your baby has got a lot of blood on it stuck in its hair, or whatever that you don't like the look of, the midwives or the support workers can help you just gently water. AirPods connected. Everything's going wrong in this house. I'm sure my daughter's must have her AirPods in. Anyway. So babies don't need fancy perfumed stuff, and I would always recommend cotton wool and water to clean a baby's bum. I know we all like to use the wipes, and people like you to buy the wipes, but they're not really very good for the environment. And be perfumed, even the ones for sensitive skin. Now, I'm not too sure about the water wipes. That's what I'm yet to be convinced about, that, because I just think, well, if they're just water wipes, why would you not use cotton wool and water? And most of the time, the people who manufacture these things want you to buy them because they smell really nice. But if they smell really nice, they've probably got perfume in them. And I've seen a number of occasions when newborn babies have quite a nasty reaction to stuff that says it's for newborn babies. So you haven't done anything wrong if you bought it. But babies just don't like anything on the skin, really, that's too harsh. So don't wash your baby's clothes in lots of fancy fabric softeners and stuff like that, because you want to keep it basic. So that's why you don't need loads of stuff. And the other stuff you're going to need for your baby, so plenty of these, plenty of vests, plenty of baby grows. And what I've noticed on this one is this one doesn't have the little mitts that a lot of them, and this is the silly one because this doesn't have it, but a lot of them have those little mitts that you turn inside out and just stops your baby from scratching the face. Also, we're going to talk hats. So when babies are born, we like to put a hat on baby. So once we've dried baby and baby's with its mummy, we like to put a hat on baby, and they're just little cotton ones, so they're not too thick. And the reason there's three on there is because very often the first hat that we put on baby does get a bit gunked up. It might get a little bit of blood on it, gets gunked up, but it's really important that baby doesn't get cold because it's been wet and it's come out into the fresh air. We've dry baby, but sometimes its head's a little bit wet. So we'd like to replace it with a nice clean dry one. However, baby hats we recommend just to wear on the first day when baby's born. So the next day, because it's nice and warm in hospital, baby doesn't need a hat on after the first day. However, when you go home, and especially if it's February like it is now, baby is going to need a hat to go home in, and I quite like these little knitted hats because they're so cute. And your baby's going to need something like that. I don't know why they make the hoods so ginormous, but obviously try and get one that fits your baby because they're not easy to put on babies. But that looks quite nice because I think it's got zips down both sides, which looks like it's a bit easier to put on. And what you're going to need also is, to take your baby home, you're going to need a car seat. Okay, so we like dads to bring in a car seat for us, or partners to bring in a car seat for us. And you can see there, you need to be, it's really important that, I know that's only a dolly, but it's really important for baby to be strapped into the car seat appropriately. So what I wouldn't do is just leave the car seat in the box and think, well, I'll just take it when we need it. Because some of them are really, do you remember Prince William messing about with that car seat and he was really struggling with it? They're not all easy to use, so get it out, see how all the little straps work, have a look at the instructions to make sure that when you take your baby home that the straps are fit correctly, because obviously we want your baby to be safe. So that's car seat. And the other thing I was going to say is you probably don't, unless you're thinking of staying in hospital a long time, you're probably not going to need a breast pump if you're only going to stay in 1 or 2 nights, because usually the breast milk comes in, say, after the 2nd or 3rd day, and it's just that beautiful golden colostrum that your body produces to line your baby's gut. And what you can do is, we do have these oral syringes, so the purple, and the oral syringes, and what some of our mums ask if they can have those, and obviously that's sterile in there, but they do need sterilising if you've used them, you know, more than once. They need properly cleaning and sterilising. But sometimes if breastfeeding's taking a little bit to establish, you know, you can express a little bit of that beautiful colostrum and ask the midwives to show you how to administer it, give it to baby safely, because it's not always as easy as you think. And the one thing, because there's not much room in the hospital room, the delivery rooms that we've got are quite good actually, they're quite roomy, but up on the ward it's a little bit tighter. The rooms aren't ginormous, because the rooms have stayed the same size, but the beds have got bigger. What I would do is just take minimal stuff into the hospital. You might not need a full packet of nappies. You might just need, you know, a handful. But what I would do, especially if you've got a husband like mine, is what I would do is I would lay out extra things.
Still talking?
Yeah, I'm still talking. Lay out extra things. I'm nearly finished. Lay out extra things on your bed or easy to hand in your bedroom that you can put in case you need to, for example, if you need to get your partner to bring you some more Knickers, if you need some more pads. So I'd have a little secondary pile so you can say, can you bring me that bag? Can you bring me that bag? And they can just be your little bit extra things. And one more top tip. Put a couple of plastic bags in your bag for your dirty clothes. So your dirty knickers, I'd put that in one bag, and just so that everything's not mixed up together, because you know what it's like, you need to have your dirty washing all separate, don't you? And then it's ready to give to your other half when when they come to bring you your new batch of clean knickers. So that's really, really helpful. And I think we're pretty much done. And I think what I'll do is I printed off this NHS what to pack for labour. I think I've gone through everything here. Oh, the only thing I've missed is like snacks. Don't forget your snacks for labour, and make sure you bring things like protein bars, stuff like that. Try and not bring just sweets. Try and, whatever you fancy, but protein bars are a good idea. And try and bring things that don't especially need putting in the fridge, that are just handy, and have them in one of your pockets of your bags that you know where it is. And on a lot of the list there's pillows. So if you want to take your own pillow into hospital, take your own pillow. Some people do, but make sure it's not make sure it's in your own individual pillowcase, that it's not just plain white, because all our pillows are plain white. So you should have your own pillows when you get into hospital. But the one thing about the hospital pillows is they're beautiful and white and crisp, but the inside of them has to be covered in like a plastic thing, so they're a bit crinkly. So you might like your own pillow, but don't take loads. And with protein, we've talked about. I think I've gone over all these things. The only other thing that's helpful is important numbers, but everyone's got important numbers. They're all in your phone. What your baby will get when you're in hospital is, we normally have a little cot, those see-through ones with a sheet on the bottom, and then 2 thin blankets to go over your baby. But you might see what the weather's like. You might need a blanket or a shawl just to go over baby when you take baby home. Just see what the weather's like. And we've talked about the other little handy tip: if you're leading up to your due date, or when you think you might be having your baby, do a bit of freezer batch cooking. Because I kid you not, if you're breastfeeding and if you're feeding a new baby, very often you can be up a lot feeding. And if those meals are one thing that you don't have to worry about, unless you've got a brilliant partner who's going to cook loads, but sometimes it's hard for you both, so if you can do like get used to doing a bit of a bigger batch cook, like of whatever the easy to cook that'll freeze easy, and then you can just heat it up, and then you know that you're not just having rubbish food and convenience food and carry out. Because if you're breastfeeding and if you're recovering from having a baby, it's really important to eat good food and look after yourself. So in those, you might have given up work and it might be another few weeks until you have your baby. Do a bit of batch cooking, make some room in your freezer, and make some good healthy food for you to have when you've had your baby. And then that's just one thing, isn't it, that you don't have to worry about. And I'm sure you'll think about this. This is a bit of an obvious one, but childcare, just make sure that you've got those things covered, so that if you go into labour and it's 2:00 in the morning, you've got your mum or your mother-in-law that is expecting a call to come and look after or pick up little Flossie out of bed, so that you're not worrying about them. And hopefully you'll have a nice, calm, beautiful birth, and believe in yourselves and have faith in yourselves, and you're all doing so well during this really crazy time. I'm so proud of you all. Hang in there, you're doing amazing. And I'm gonna go. Happy weekend, everybody. Take care, look after yourselves and each other. Bye.